last time we finished the entirety of our very first themed section in our park, and if you missed it, I highly recommend checking it out. But for today, something new. And now I have to decide, what's next? I mean, I already planned it all. We could just go here, or here, or here. Let's just work on the main street. Alright everyone, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2 Episode 9. My name is Zelucius, or Luck, whichever one works. And here we are, right into a time-lapse. A little different today, as I started off with a time-lapse, because we had a lot to change up between last episode and this episode. And the first thing you'll see me do here is terraform, and we're trying to make this dramatic kind of walkway in between, well, the beginning of the main street and where we left off last time, which was the entrance gate into our first themed land, Black Rock Basin. And as you can see, there's a bit of a dramatic cliff going on, or the foundations of one anyway. And you'll just have to see what I have in store for that area, because that'll look pretty cool, I hope, anyway. So yeah, we are in the main street, and the whole time while I was thinking of inspiration for this main street and whatnot, everything just kept going to French, you know, like when I think of a main street, I think of France, okay? I think of those French buildings, I think of Mainstreet USA, Disney, the very French influence, maybe Americana stylized, but you know, it's got hipped roofing or the French mansard roofing. That look is very iconic, it's very grand, it's like a statement almost, and I wanted to capture that exact feeling, but just not using French buildings, because I feel like it's been done already, you know. I've done it before even. I made an Italian theme park last year, and the main street was still French, just because it looked very Main Street. So today I'm going to challenge myself to try something new, and my architectural kind of direction for this area is then going to be the German Fachwerk, or timber framed housing. You know what I'm talking about, right? But this isn't your ordinary timber framed housing. This is kind of an extreme variation of that, where it's like extremely detailed, and there's also going to be a lot of Gothic influences. So that'll be pretty fun, pretty dramatic. It'll make a very imposing skyline, I think, for the main street and for this area of the park. So I'm pretty excited to hop into that. And right now you're watching me build these facades. This is the first thing I do every single time I make a brand new area. I lay out the buildings and the shapes that I want the buildings to have, and I allot for different areas, like, oh, this is going to be a patio, this is going to be elevated, this is going to be sunken in, and we just get that out of the way before we even touch the paths. And generally that's like right after the landscaping, and doing it in this way, you know, you make sure you get enough space for everything you want. And now we have the path going in. It's an extremely wide path, but you'll see once I add all the details and the clutter. Yes, even main streets can have a clutter, and they should, but not too much, and I'll explain more of that in a little bit. But right now, as you can see, I'm just adding that middle section of the path just so you get the general feel of the main street. It's going to have sidewalks on either side, and I looked at so many tours, video tours and walkthroughs of Disney and other, specifically the Magic Kingdom, but other theme parks too, their main streets, and how that layout generally directs traffic and how it makes you feel. So I've got a pretty good idea and a good basis for how to finish the rest of this area, and it's turning out pretty well. I know I talked a lot at the beginning about not having French buildings everywhere, but you'll see I definitely took some French influence, and I think that's okay. You know, there's a lot of overlap in between these styles because they're in very similar regions of the world. Like, the timber frame is not exclusive to Germany, you know, it exists other places, and I'm just going to take what elements of each architectural style I like, and I'm going to include them, because why not, you know? So, like I said, this is just the basic layout of the main street, and I'll check back in with you once I get one building detailed to show you more in depth of what exactly I'm talking about when I speak of these architectural styles. Alright, so check-in number 1. I just wanted to show you the first building I made. I just wanted to build one like this to see if it was possible, and then I'll maybe include a time lapse to show you exactly how I did it. But here's the first one. So one thing you'll notice here is that the coloring of the walls is actually in a gradient. This is an idea that I took from, believe it or not, the Minecraft building community. So when they have larger builds and they need texture, they will kind of gradient the buildings so darker is towards the bottom. Because we're not building in pixels like Minecraft, the seams are pretty noticeable. So you have to take stuff like wooden beams to cover up the edges between the blocks of your lime plaster or whatever you're using. It's pretty simple to do this. You take the color you want, and then for each layer you like go down about 1 centimeter. So if I go down, like just click it there, you get the gradient color you need, right? And then from there you go down another centimeter based on how many layers you want to do. And it's something really subtle, but it really adds a lot of depth to the build. And you can do this with whatever color. You can do it with the white color, the cream color, and it'll still look very good. I've called it Solstheim House. Solstheim comes from Skyrim, if that name sounds familiar. And I just wanted a word that had the word soul in it because it's a yellow building, so it's like the sun, right? Sun house. Because they're like houses, I'm probably gonna call a bunch of these buildings like house. And do I think that taking any archaic word and putting the word house on the end of it makes it German? Yeah. And for that reason, this building over here is probably gonna be like Luna House or something. And maybe this one will be like Ocean House or Sea House. And if I'm trying to keep with the theme of naming each house after a different element, that would mean that the house at the end of the street is... That's right, you guessed it. Alright, if you couldn't tell, I'm having a lot of fun editing now. But welcome to the live section. I was gonna do another time lapse, but this video would be over an hour. So instead we're just gonna walk you through. Well, here's the main street. Ignore that. So here's what I've been spending the last month on, and I love all of these buildings. They're all unique and quirky in their own way, and I'll just go through them one at a time. So you've already seen Solstheim House. This is an unfinished building. I don't know what's going to be in there, probably a restroom, just because there's no restroom building yet. Next up, we have Uns and Az Beer Hall by Geo Brothers. This one was funny. I was watching a video and there was a German guy explaining the concept of Uns and Az, and I thought it was pretty funny, so I just named it that. Basically, Uns is like music, like Uns, Uns, and then Az is like observing art and appreciating art. And he said life is just a balance between the Uns and Az, between having fun, listening to music, partying, and appreciating beautiful art. I thought that was a cool concept, so I named this building that. And it's supposed to be like a small pub thing, like a speakeasy, but there's nothing in it right now. Next is the first restaurant. It's called Schnitzelmond. And this is a play on Pizza Moon. This was a direct inspiration from Stan Wolf's Pizza Moon, which is another recreation of Pizza Moon at Epic Universe. Here I took the sign and I made it my own. So we have Schnitzelmond, and that just means Schnitzel Moon, I think, anyways. I know it's pretty goofy, like it's absurdly goofy, but in a way that I kind of love it. That's actually the pineapple piece, the lemon, you can't forget the lemon, and the garnish. I even used, if I unpause it, I even used the vegetation that doesn't move in the wind. This is a working restaurant, but I didn't care about the interior on this one. As you can see, I cared about the exterior only. So here are our booths. And there's a piano here. Maybe I'll play some music on a speaker, I don't know yet. Now rounding out the corner is a building you may have seen already. If you are subscribed, then you probably have seen the post I made teasing this building, but this is a building heavily inspired by Pele Castle, which is a Romanian castle. And this had the look I really wanted to encapsulate in all the remaining buildings, which was the timber framing mixed with Gothic. This has all the points I wanted to get. I started using these Viking pieces for like fine chiseled stone detailing, which I think looks very good. Stuff like this. This is like the crest of the castle that I made. I've been pasting it all around. We've got the hipped roofing. We've got the half-hipped roofing, which is like a half gable, half-hipped roof with an extension, an overhang. I don't even know what you would call that. It's like a super hybrid roof. Just a bunch of different shapes and stuff. Really interesting. And if you've seen the real castle, then you know that there's beautiful gardens out in front of it that will be landscaped, and with the terrain changes, it'll look pretty good. But I didn't get into that. You'll see a lot of this is unfinished because this is one of the first times I've loaded into the game with the new Sorcery DLC. I just wanted to stop building, get this video out, and then when I head back in, I'll update what needs to be updated with new pieces and continue building. For example, this thing here, if we go into the Sorcery pack, look, this keep window, this is exactly what I had to make, and this would fit perfectly right here. But you know, this works too. Even the pirate ship wheel, it doesn't look too out of place. Now behind it is something from Planet Coaster 1 that I used, which is the bottom of this turret piece, the small turret. If you sink it in, you get this nice Gothic texture to use. That just about does the castle. I mean, it's pretty to look at, but it doesn't have much going for it right now. As you can see, there's no interior. It's clock faces on all sides, and the roof is custom. All of these are custom roofs, except for this part. This is custom. Now, let's go back to the front, and we'll continue on the right side of the main street. Your mom's house is still here. It's undetailed. But with the new sorcery pieces, this building will look pretty good. Also, you'll notice that the sidewalks are elevated ever so slightly to give the proper Main Street feel. This big gap in the skyline is home to our outdoor kind of patio area. And this building here is probably my favorite building I've made so far. So here you can see lots and lots of Gothic influence. And one of the few things I did add with the new Sorcery pack are those lights on that building. And the fencing, the Gothic fencing on the patio out here. This was heavily inspired by the queue for Battle at the Ministry in Epic Universe. There's an outdoor section before you go into the Metro Flu, and I took pictures because I was like, I'm gonna use this in one of my parks one day. And here it is being repurposed as an outdoor patio. Now the patio furniture, these are very good looking, but they're also very expensive. These are from a creator called Jude Lindquist, I think. I'll put the workshop code to one of their projects, but I got this from that project. It was Volcania, I think. The assets in that are amazing, and I repurposed it here. So here's a table and chair set. I pasted all around. Unfortunately, the guests can't really use them, but I don't really care. It looks pretty. Hanging pots around. Kind of got the oxidized metal look, and this brings us to this building. Here we have the front side of my favorite building. This is called Madame Melon's Earthly Emporium. Now, this building was modeled off of a pretty famous German building in Gelbensonda. Here is the sign, Madame Melon's Earthly Emporium. Some ball knowledge for you guys. And my very first video of my Planet Coaster 1 series, I made a restaurant called Chez Melon, and this is the same melon. It's just my pet cat. She's a black cat named Melon. And so, just like Bar Geo, my dog, he had a bar, the cat now has a gift shop emporium instead of a restaurant. I guess the restaurant business wasn't that lucrative, I don't know. But this building I absolutely love, down to the very, very fine details. It looks very messy up close, but from afar you can see what I was going for with the different little bracket pieces meant to represent the tan bricks and alternating colored bricks, just to give the brick walls some texture instead of just a solid orange wall everywhere. And then the upper section, the timber frame section, is extremely detailed. It's got extra reinforcing, and this is part of the French influence that I was talking about. I don't even know how to describe it. This is like Parisian Gothic Fachwerkhaus. I don't know. So our unique lighting fixture is the flower lamp, because it's like earthly. It's relating to, this is supposed to be an earth-centered building, so there's lots and lots of plants. You can see the ivy growing up, and the planters. I really like this over the half-hipped roof. One thing I really mastered after building all of these is the jetting of the buildings. You see how they all start here and they slowly stick out more and more, you know, as you get higher up. And this is very accurate to how these buildings are in real life. See how they all start sticking out? This one here is no exception. There is no interior as of right now, and it feels like a bit of a disservice to this building to not have an interior, but it has so many pieces, so I don't really mind. And up here it's just a simple patio. It's inaccessible. And next, here we have one building that actually does have an interior. This one is called Starlight Manor, and this is another gift shop, but with actually like using the gift shop mechanic in the game. Gifts, toys, clothing from the skies. I'm very, very happy with this building, especially the landscaping out front. It's very like dense, and there's lots of elevation, so it's interesting to look at. Another sign for the building. It feels like it fits perfectly right here. And this is probably my favorite view. If we go to like 3 p.m, this is my favorite view for sure. So this building is a bit different because it's like a modern kind of revival of what these other buildings are. Like, you look at it, it feels modern. If you can feel the minimalism, and especially when it's next to a building like this, which has a crazy amount of detail. And this is how the back side of the buildings look. I'll take another look later, but right now we should head inside. So let's head in through this way. And let's hit play. So as you can see, I kind of overdid it with the interior here. And if I did something like this for every building, there'd be way too many pieces. So I think in each area I'll do one interior, and then you can imagine the rest of the buildings have a similar interior. But just for piece count sake, we'll have one interior decorated building, and then all the buildings will look like this on the inside. But yeah, here is the gift shop. Again, very Epic Universe inspired. Being Starlight Manor after all, this is themed to stars, and it's pretty cozy. Here we have a couch by the fireplace and windows with blinds kind of blocking out the view back there. There might be too much realism here, I'm gonna be honest. Like the fire alarms, the sprinkler system, the security camera. There's a lot of shelf usage, potted plants, the grandfather clock, which I found on the workshop, all of the gift shop pieces, the illuminated exit signs. Even back here, we have a defibrillator and first aid kit. This building kind of did too much, but I love it. And this is walkable, except it just doesn't have custom doors. You just walk through. And now we're out front in the manor. That's all I got up to before the update came out. And one thing I realized actually is this right here. This is a custom, I guess it's like a armillary. It's like this, but I made that before the update came out. And this would probably look way better than the one I made. Oh, also, I put sprinklers in the garden out here. And this goes off for 8 seconds every minute. Just for a little bit more aliveness. The birds hang out here a lot, and it looks so cool. I would definitely recommend using these urns if you're doing tiered landscaping like this. It just adds elevation and density. Now as for the backside, yeah, it's a bit crazy looking right now. But here is how the entrance to Black Rock Basin will look. So after you round the corner to the main street, you head back across this medieval bridge. Here's how it looks right now. It's very clean looking, it's very new looking. That's because I haven't gotten to it with the stains and the moss yet. On this bridge, you'll see I've made some of these viewpoint binoculars, and I made the lenses with the camera props. They may not be that accurate, but you can tell exactly what it is. And that's good enough for me. On the back side of this building, I had to make pretty again because it is visible from all angles. This patio is very claustrophobic, but it still gives very cool views. So I thought I'd leave it in here. It's not finalized because I'm not sure I like the look of this. It looks too clean to me. You know, I was just complaining about these being a Planet Coaster 1 texture and not looking that good. And then look at this. Immediately in the new set, this exists, which is just an upgrade to this in all ways. So yeah, that is why I stopped building and had to get this video out. Some work I need to do, but yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it. I mean, the clutter in the main street, it works as long as you keep it on the sidewalk areas. Nothing should ever be in the main part. That's why I threw in these like manhole covers, just to like add a little bit of detail. That's also why the path has this very loud or visually noisy texture, because it's plain otherwise. Also, these lights on the side are from the workshop. These are Victorian lights, and I'll link these below because they're very pretty and they just work perfectly for this vibe. But yeah, this is the feel of the main street. I mean, I absolutely love it. I love the way it's like super inviting, drawing you in. It needs something to focus on, so we'll probably do a weenie here. I don't know exactly what to do yet. And the way the path splits and it gets super wide. It's almost like kind of spilling out into the rest of the park. You see how large the park is from here, right? There's so many themed lands we can do, so many different things to check out. I mean, from here you see all of Black Rock Basin. Alright, well that's going to pretty much do it for today's episode. Today I mainly focused on the tour rather than the time-lapse, and as a result, the video was much shorter, and I hope that was easier to watch. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on the project in the comments below. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. I literally can't wait to play around with the DLC right after this, so stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you here next time. So take care, and bye bye.